Thanks for coming. My name's David Epstein, and I'm the founder of Eternaview. You might think that folks came to Jacob Javits to see the newest camera equipment or the latest trends in sports programming and video streaming, but I think they came for something else, and maybe I'm a little self-absorbed, but I think they came for talking squirrels. Let's see if he has anything to say. Who's your favorite Beatle?
John, Paul, George, Ringo, and Taylor. Yeah, Taylor. Taylor Swift is my favorite Beatle. Good thing for her, she quit the group, so she didn't need to split the money 5 ways.
We'll come back to him a little later. We didn't start out thinking about talking squirrels. We're a young startup. And I want to talk about the topics of conversational AI and conversational video against the backdrop of everything that's happening with generative AI. And you've heard of the models, of course, ChatGPT, Gemini, Llama, Runway, Minimax, Hour One, Sora. And I want to talk about why we've chosen, against that backdrop, why we've chosen a focus on building interactive video that is not actually based on generating answers in real time, but rather playing answers that we've pre-recorded, as was done with Squirrely. So we're still a young company, just launching recently. But we started out not thinking about squirrels, but as a way for people to preserve memories, as a way to leave behind a piece of themselves for their kids, their grandkids, and future generations. Our web app allows people to easily record themselves on any smartphone or webcam, and then easily share. And the real secret sauce, though, is that our web app, as soon as folks are done recording, it's instantly interactive. So we'd like you to meet Grandpa Tim. He's a real human, someone's actual grandpa. We've done some demonstrations where people think he's just a guy on a Zoom call. You know, he's like a telethon operator. We're standing by. We've had people 3 or 4 questions in, and they think they're still talking to a guy. But they're not. He's not live. He's a recording. And an important distinction, he's not an avatar or a deepfake. He's not digitally rendered and isn't going to know the score of the Yankees game just ended because the real Grandpa Tim didn't record that. But he can talk a lot about his life. Let's ask him a question.
Do you have a favorite picture?
I do have a favorite photo I'd like to show you. It was taken when I was a school teacher, and I taught high school biology. This is a picture of me. I'm the one with the tie on.
So this brings us to the topic of avatars, which might also be called digital humans or digital twins. As you may know, there's rapid development in avatars, and comes in a lot of varieties. We're focused here on the interactive variety. And in order for Grandpa Tim to be able to answer questions about things that are hot off the presses like sports scores, or to answer any question a viewer could possibly ask, then he would need to be an avatar. And in order for an avatar to be real-time, it would need to allow real-time digital renderings of people or some character with real-time responses powered by large language models and text-to-speech engines. There are plenty of great use cases for avatars, but I think they're the ones where you don't really care if you're talking to someone that's an actual human or where you might have an emotional connection with someone. So for instance, if you're doing customer service and you're calling up your airline and trying to check on your tickets, an avatar might be a nice interface, but I don't care if that's a real human. I don't have a real connection with them. And, we think there are other places. If you're a financial professional and you have to go with compliance training, again, avatar might be a great interface, but I don't really care if this is a real human or not. Certain marketing and sales roles, not all, and a personal assistance. Now, we're using AI, but we're using it in a way that keeps it a very human experience, just to understand the viewer's query and to retrieve the best answer. And so, beyond a legacy, we're also focusing on dating. Dating's another place where there's currently AI boyfriends and girlfriends. There's AI and boyfriends and girlfriends. Some are text-based, some have some graphics, and those might serve a need, but we're a lot more about facilitating human connections. So, for instance, say you both swipe right on a dating app. If you're a creator, you're trying to break through the clutter and get this person to meet you in person. This is a way for you to show that you actually look like you look like your picture, that your personalities potentially mesh, that you'd be safe to meet in person. But I don't think it stops just with legacy and dating. We think there are some other use cases where real human connection is important. That could be celebrities or influencers, fans engaging with their favorite personalities. It could be public servants. It could be journalism where you need accountability and accuracy. It could be small business owners where you want to see the real person to judge their competence and their personality because you're going to be dealing with them on a one-on-one basis. And by the same token, it's a way for the small business owner to leverage their presence and get to more people. And we think there are many more cases like corporate leaders and the like. Now, returning to Squirrely, despite the incredible photorealism that may have fooled you, he is not real, like our live action recordings of legacy and dating. We animated Squirrely as a company that liked our grandpa product, and they wanted to see an animated squirrel as a sort of demo or a proof of concept. Our goal with Squirrely was to achieve a decent level of interactivity while keeping him a compelling character. Squirrely is designed, for instance, to be on a kiosk at amusement park for entertainment purposes or to serve a customer service role. I invite you to chat with him a little bit later, but I'll ask him one more quick question right now. What's good to eat around here?
Well, acorns, of course. And don't get me started on the occasional stolen pizza crust. It's my cheat day treat. Oh, but if you mean for you, we've got burgers over there, pizza over there, poke bowls over there, barbecue that way, Chinese this way, ice cream there, turkey legs behind you, tacos next to the lunchroom. Sheesh. We sure got a lot to eat around here. Oh, and don't forget Sushi Barn. There's no sushi like farm sushi.
Like our live action recordings for legacy and dating, these animations are pre-recorded. Unlike those recordings, though, Squirrely's answers are scripted. It is important to acknowledge the incredible flexibility that is offered by real-time rendered responses. They can answer virtually anything. It can also be very efficient and inexpensive. And on that note, we would have the flexibility to combine these pre-recorded scripted responses with something in real time. But we do think that scripted and pre-recorded responses would still remain a valuable part of the mix for interactive applications. And that not only goes for, 2D cartoony animated stuff, but when we get in the realm of, photorealistic things that you can't tell whether it's a live action person or it is generated. So I want to highlight some of the advantages of being scripted and or pre-recorded, which might not all be obvious. The first is in terms of the animation itself. I don't hold myself out as an expert on all text to video and image to video models. And they're clearly evolving fast. Some of these models are already being used for animated characters and gaming and other videos in real time in order to enable real-time interactivity. But even if these models are used to help with animation, we believe that pre-rendering or pre-recording responses give some extra room for artistry in the animation to get things just right before presenting them to the end user, even if it creates only a finite number of ways that the character can respond. Next, whether we're talking live action or animation, beyond, another thing we want to mention is LLMs really are not that funny. There's obviously incredible progress in LLMs, but we think a lot of things will make technical progress before they actually become humorous, at least on a dependable basis. So beyond humor, we think pre-recording gives the creator a better control of messaging overall, and that could be quality or branding or safety. Finally, with regards to applications that are interactive, I feel that there's more room for a communal experience, if you will, where different people are interacting with the same video at different times if the video is the same. So just like when one of us watches Squid Game on Netflix and we tell a friend to watch it and we want to know they're going to have the exact same experience, we think there's a certain community in terms of sharing the exact same content, even when we don't have a chance to all be in a movie theater together. There's also a value of repeatability in many children's applications or wherever repeated viewing is desired, right? There's a reason that people watch Star Wars dozens of times or Star Trek. It's because when you like something, you want to be able to see the same thing again. So I'll leave it there. That's my prepared remarks. Can I answer any questions before I invite you to come up and try it for yourself? Do we have is that part of the, they're going to get you. They're going to get you.
Thank you, David. Just two questions. Does it work in another language? Does it work in Spanish? And can you give an example of how journalists used this?
We think journalism would be a good application. Currently, we're a brand new startup. We've just built legacy dating. And like I said, we built this, the animated squirrel for a vendor. But for a journalist, right, you'd create a set of questions, that the journalist answers, and then we train the AI for the different ways that people might ask those viewers might ask questions and what answers we'd want to pull in response to those questions. There is a training process. It doesn't work, the first moment. But once we know what questions we're going to ask the journalist, then we can start training the AI. And, we have it, because these are actual, at least in the case of live action, those are actual recordings. So they spoke English. There is the technology to change their answers to a different language, but we're trying to keep authenticity there. But we could certainly do that. And, even easier is the viewer can ask the query in different languages. We've turned that off for technical reasons the last couple weeks. But last week, if I'd asked them the same questions in Spanish, they would have responded in English, but they would have responded. Thanks for the question. Anybody else? Well, thanks for attending. You're welcome to come up here. Also, stop by our booth. We're in the 1400 section in the far corner of the floor. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.